Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Professor Saugata, for having me here. It's a pleasure to be with you all today. So this is the content of my presentation, what as an organization we do. We are a not-for-profit organization. We are not a commercial organization. And my career and the journey and challenges and some of the lessons that has been learned over the years and decades. So Aravind is into fighting blindness. So this is the statistics for blindness. India has a higher preponderance for blindness. The good news is 80% of the blindness is curable. You can do something about it, a surgery or drugs and glasses and all that. So with that as a background, our founder started this organization at his 58th year of his life. He retired from the government and then set up this organization. And he said his vision was to eliminate needless blindness by providing care to all across the spectrum of the society, not only for the people who could pay, but bulk of the population in 1976 with a per capita income of $150, bulk of them didn't have the money to pay for care. So this is the founding team. My father is to the extreme left, and my uncle, my father's elder brother, he was a bachelor, and this is a small group of people that founded this organization with 11 beds. And today we are we cover a population of about 100 million people. Tamil Nadu, parts of Andhra, Tirupati, and parts of Kerala. In that 100 million people, we give 50% of all eye care needs in that population. So we are about 8,000 employees altogether. So that's the size of the work that we do. So we handle about 16,000 patients, perform about 1,700 surgeries a day, and all the rest that goes with that. We are also into manufacturing, intraocular lens, sutures, and pharma. So this is Aravind in 21-22, the whole country does about 7 million surgeries. Aravind does about 5,500 surgeries, about 8 to 9% of the country's work. So this has been my career pathway. As a doctor, I finished my MBBS and then joined ophthalmology, did my MBA from University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, and then took over as the administrator, and I've grown in the organization since. About 40% of my time is clinical. I'm a surgeon. I still do my surgery 2 days a week. And the rest of the time is more in administration and management. I'm just setting the context for the lessons that I have internalized. So this has been the journey, and as was pointed out earlier, you finish your MBA, you're vibrant with a lot of thoughts and energy. That's how I came into the organization. I completed in 2000. As you know, being a doctor takes a long time. So I came in pretty late into administration from the conventional age group. And hospitals, it's very hierarchical. The whole medical system is very hierarchical, unlike a business. You have to start from the shop floor. You don't have a choice, because your respect does not come from making decisions. Your respect comes from doing something to a patient. And that your security in the hospital will know who is a better surgeon, who is a better doctor. You don't have to talk to anyone else. It is not cocooned in a boardroom. You're out there. So I had a challenge in 2009. I was managing some of the projects outside of Aravind. In Uttar Pradesh, we had a fallout with the partner. And that kind of was a trigger point for me. I had turned 40 at that stage of my life in 2009. So I thought, everything was set. I'm in a good place. I can ride the next 2 or 3 decades doing well and all that, because the tide was in my favor, is what I thought. But 2009 was a rude awakening, and I felt very lonely in a family organization. We are a large family. We are about 38 ophthalmologists in the family. So we are not a small, not the nuclear family, but the extended family. But being a not-for-profit organization, it's very important to understand everybody has ownership. It is not one person has ownership or the other person does not have. Everybody morally owns the organization. In fact, you don't even own the organization. The organization belongs to the nation. You are custodians of the organization in the truest sense, right? So, with all that, but still you start owning an organization, right? Because a lot of our problem comes in the family business because we have an emotional connect with the business. That's where the pain comes from. You don't have the same pain when it happens to another person, but when it happens to you in your own family, the pain is very intense. So these are some of the insights I've learned over the decades. I'm trying to share and see whether it resonates with you. So this is a quote I really liked. A lot of times when you're going through a crisis, when you're going through a situation which is not very comfortable, I think it is important to go through the situation. I would like to read this quote. And this is from Murakami. I'm sure some of you are aware, is a famous Japanese author. And once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through. how you manage to survive. You won't even be sure whether the storm is really over. But one thing is certain, when you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. That's what the storm is all about. That's what COVID was about. We all went through a storm. We are all not the same people that we came out. What we came in and who we are outside of COVID is a very different DNA that we all have. Even the DNA has changed. The way we have adapted to technology, the way we related to family. COVID taught us one thing. If one person is sick in the community, everybody is sick. The last person matters and the first person matters. So those are all very difficult lessons to learn if you don't have something like a COVID. And COVID-like situations happens in a family. And it is better to have it happen early on in your life rather than later in your life. And another important lesson I learned, I am here in the family business by choice. Sometimes I behave as if I'm holding the organization, they're not allowing me to go. They're ready for me to leave. They're ready for me to get out. They have enough nonsense faced because of whatever trouble I have created. But we have to realize we are the ones who are holding the family business. They are not holding you. They don't need you, you need them. Then we become a little more civilized in dealing with our elders, with our family members, and all the other people. Otherwise, we try to act a little smart, especially with education and better English, better communication, better body language. All of that, there is a little bit of bordering arrogance creeps in. So this was a rude awakening for me. My uncle said, "Who are you without Aravind Hospital?" That was a slap on my face. I'm sure that is a question all of us can ask in this room. Right? Who are we without the people who have founded this organization? If you don't like it, please leave it. You don't have to behave like an elephant tied with a simple thread. The other lesson I learned was I started appreciating the family business, or in our case, it's not a business, but I'm using that term because this conference is all about that, as a platform. It's a platform that is given to you. So respect the platform you have. It's not the business that matters. Because you are born in that family, you are able to get the education that you get, the experience, the exposure, the network, the net worth, and you're also lucky. Not everybody is lucky to get married, but if you're born in it, you're much better off, right? You are in the family, you are in the thick of things. And please remember, you can also be born in a family, but you can also have Down syndrome. You can also have a congenital disability. So if you're healthy, if you're born in the family, if you're steady, just being there needs gratitude. A tremendous gratitude just to be where you are as a person. And with that kind of a platform, I didn't realize, one thing I realized early on was I thought family was holding me back, was curtailing me. But when I started appreciating that the family is giving me the platform to do something over the next few decades, that was very liberating. I didn't feel like a prisoner in an ecosystem. I felt like somebody who can stand on this platform and try to do something meaningful over the decades. So that's when, it's like, what's your platform? High platform, low purpose, low platform. See, most people in this world have 90% of them belong to the low platform, low purpose. The person who drives the taxi, the person who serves your coffee, tea. Not that they are not aspirational. They were not born that way. Not that they are not smart. They have enough and more common sense than most of us. They survive this world daily. They fight their battle every day. We don't fight the battle. We have people to fight our battles. We'll have a maid, we'll have a driver, we'll have a manager to fight our personal security, assistants, all of them to fight their battle. But they are the battle warriors, scarred warriors in the battle. So if such a kind of platform is given to us in the family business, we better have a higher purpose. It is unfortunate if we start having a lower purpose. That was the lesson I learned. Another important lesson I learned was a lot of challenge happened in my life. That's why I said 2009 was a critical year when I turned 40. We are all going through two transitions in our life. The first transition is Adam 1. Oh, you went to this business school. Oh, you did that, you did this. Those are all your resume virtues. Doesn't matter after certain years. Doesn't matter where you start. It's like a marathon, right? All of us can start a marathon. How many of us can end a marathon? Right? 100 meters, all of us can start and end. But a marathon, can we end it still alive is a question. So I think that was very important to realize. And as I get older, I'm also realizing you mellow down. Obviously, life teaches you if you keep being the resume virtue guy. Resume virtue is also important in the world. I'm not putting it down. Please remember. People who will disrupt this world belong to the resume virtue. I was there till maybe 40s, early 40s and all that. Then I moved to it is not two different people. It's not good, bad. It's the same person who has a shade of this and shade of that. A time comes when the shade becomes more of eulogy, or in the early stages, it's resume. Another important important lesson I've learned over the years is a lot of things fall into place. You don't plan for things. I'm sure all of us will relate to this, right? Most things in our lives have happened in spite of all our planning, not because we planned. It is very important to realize there is a lot that is happening which we are not in control. So appreciate that and somehow believe that your family means well to you. At the end of the day, if they don't mean well to you, don't be the elephant that is getting tied there. You can chart your own path. You can be the maverick that is creating family wealth for your subsequent generation. Nobody was born as a wealthy individual with a family business. Somebody created, some risk taker in your family, in all our families have created the organization that we have. Don't ever forget your roots. Roots are important. Journey goes on. If you are the second generation, not very far from now, you will be the first generation. 20, 30 years slips by before you even realize. So it's important not to rock the boat so much that it is not available for your children. Climb your own mountain, very important, not someone else's mountain, but there is a lot of lesson that one can learn. This was a few important questions that have helped me to reflect upon. What points do my talents and deep gladness meet the world's needs? It's not the family business that matters. 8,000 employees of your matter. Not the 1 point or whatever, billions matter, right? It's the number of people we touch at the end of the day that matter. So somewhere we'll have to connect emotionally with what we do, not only with the market cap and things like that, which are tangible. The intangibles hold things. That's why religion is very powerful. Religion is completely held by intangible, not by tangibles. What is holding us from living our purpose? It's a very important question, right? Sometimes we don't live our purpose. Just because we are born in a family, we try to fight, crib all the time, and then ask ourselves, we did have 20, 30 years ahead of us. All that we spent was fighting with our fathers and the uncles and aunts of this in the world. You have a lot better things to do than that. The other lesson I learned was seeding. Take joy in seeding rather than harvesting. I'm done in a minute. So seeding, so that is a very powerful lesson. So I took happiness in seeding rather than harvesting. A lot of times when you are in the resume virtue, you're always looking at harvesting. You identify with harvesting. Oh, we have a market cap and all that. Seeding is where the real energy goes. So this is a quote that resonates a lot with me. Success is what happens to us. We all have to be phenomenally successful. It's important, hardworking, sincere people. But finally, the world legacy is not created by success. Legacy is created by significance. What happens through each one of us in this world. Finally, I will end with this quote of our founder. Intelligence and capabilities are not enough. There must be a joy of doing something beautiful. Family business is beautiful. Let's enjoy the joy of doing something great. Thank you.